Here in the riverbanks of India, small shapes can be seen darting around in the distance. Ghost-like creatures, it's hard to make out what they are from here. Moving around like little submarines. There's one there, ruining the illusion. Hello there. These are, of course, pea pufferfish, also known as dwarf pufferfish and pygmy pufferfish. Hello. They've come to say hello, not shy this time of the day, and as morning hits, we look through the mangroves and the leaves and the roots of the environment, and we see the pea puffers hunting for food, looking for mates, and hopefully succeeding while some may perish. As the sunlight breaks through the tree tops of this jungle, we see activity picking up in the Indian riverbeds of Pea Puffer Kingdom. The movement is becoming more frantic. As the light comes up, we see them looking for snails, bloodworms, tubifex worms, as well as many other foods alike. This male seemingly looking for a mate, but not having much luck. This female, on the other hand, is looking for food. Her stomach is plump, she's eating well, and perhaps carrying eggs at this point, but we can't be sure until she drops them like it's hot. Food can't come quick enough for this peckish little creature. These naughty males are scampering away, hoping that they can regroup, come back, and find their mate. With this bird's eye view of the pea puffer fish, we see them looking around for mates. Not successful, these two males only have each other for friendship. The hunt goes on early in the morning, and this male searches not only for food, but continually looking for a female to breed with. His chasing tactics, like in the human world, don't seem to be paying off. This female has had enough. It seems that solitude is the way for her this morning. And snails seems to be the only thing she's attracted to today. The females tend to hang out with each other, not wanting to be bothered by the males. They're all on this side of the riverbed, away from the males, getting some peace and quiet for once in their cute, adorable lives. The eyes move independently, one looking for predators, one looking for prey. This way, they stay safe, stay sharp, and continually are looking for food. Food arrives. A bladder snail makes his way across the sand, looking for some kind of shelter from the mean beaks of these little tiny pufferfish. The plant in the distance, his only escape from the predators, looming above. It's a long, long crawl, I was about to say walk, but crawl, to the roots of safety, and hopefully he will find his way there and live long. Dead. 5 hours later, it seems that he's almost as good as dead, getting to these roots, crawling his tiny little shell around. It doesn't look good for this one. As the sun hits the peak of the day, these pea puffer fish, this pack of pea puffer fish, are searching around the water's surface, hoping for snails, bloodworms, tubifex worms, black worms, white worms, brine shrimp, or daphnia. The excitement is reaching fever pitch, and the energy in these pufferfish is picking up. This little male is certainly getting anxious, and the females are lurking, ready for anything that is to drop into the waters. It's safe to say anything that drops into these waters of the pufferfish kingdom may not last long. This group looks like a good band, perhaps Backstreet Puffs. As time goes on during the day, luck looks to be on their side. With the winds picking up above the water's surface, a splash, a trickle, and some shells drop through the surface of the water, and these pea puffer fish dart to the bottom of the riverbed. Some were hoping for bloodworms perhaps, some were hoping for tubifex worms, some maybe even ram's horn snails. But they'll have to make do with bladder snails. This male seems to have found his breakfast just fine. As he looks up, he sees another male, gives it one look as if to say, "Not for you, matey," and that male is off. And this female continuously looks for more food, not satisfied by what nature has given her. Snap, crackle, and pop. This female eats the snail as if it's going out of fashion, and we can see why she holds such a glorious plump shape. She is not afraid to tackle any kind of meal. Hunger strikes for this one, and the snails are seeing the end of their short-lived aquatic life. Another one bites the dust. This female is absolutely incredulous about her snails and will not stop until she sucks out every morsel of snail from the shells. You'd think with their size they'd be quite timid, but these really are the wolf pack of the Indian rivers. Tiny and cute, but mighty, feisty, and aggressive when it comes to food. Slurping worms like spaghetti and slurping snails out of the shell like they mean business. These pea puffers... Oh, I have to interrupt myself there, as the male looks to us try to get some kind of mating and breeding behavior with the female, but she goes for him and says, "Not this time, not on your Nelly." Having driven the male suitor away, she goes back to her food and protects the snails. The male comes back for one last look, but he realizes his efforts are futile. With this male and female both looking at the snail, the male is deciding whether to make a move to breed, or whether to actually try and get the food. He goes for neither. Scared by the bigger, larger female, he goes for the safety option of just mooching around like a weirdo. These snails will not last long. They may not see the night. As we can see, the female here with the bulging stomach, she has eaten plenty today. This male, foraging for scraps in anything he can find, may have a harder time getting through these tricky hours. Daytime is of course the best time for them to eat. As visibility is high, with the night coming down later on, it will be much harder and much more difficult to spot these tiny little snacks that they've been looking for during the sunrise. These pea puffer fish can go days without eating. Whilst it's not preferable, they can go 2, 3, even 4 days without eating and not struggle too much. That said, they must snack and eat regularly because they don't know when their next meal will come. Tiny portions regularly will suit this guy just fine and keep up his strength for breeding, chasing, and escaping predators. The eyes darting around individually, showing us a life that's inside of this fish that we don't have ourselves, a fascinating one, giving both sides of being scared of what could come and hungry for what may be. The female returns. Guarding these shells and looking for any morsel that may be left, the male comes in to try and mate again, showing off his size, squaring up to the female, as if to say, "Look at me, aren't I a tough little fish?" She pushes him away and leaves him empty-finned. It's going to be a lonely Valentine's Day for this male puffer. Having said that, he will of course still eat the meal he was going to prepare for his date. What a lad. Above in the treetops and the leaves, the puffers still move around and are active as they were first thing in the morning. This female continuously looks around, hoping to find some kind of solitude without the hassle of a male. In this pea puffer pack, that is hard to come by. The females will have to make do with being friends themselves and pushing away the males. Death. This valley of death and empty shells shows the life that once was here. The pea puffers have made light work of these snails. They dropped in not 1 hour ago, and now there is nothing remaining. There may be one that's trying to escape, though. Feigning death, this snail is pretending to be dead and trying to get to safety, whilst not attracting the attention of this male pufferfish. It could be a long, long way to Tipperary for this snail, as the male is still very much hungry, and swimming through these treetops and the leaves, searching every nook and cranny for what he can get. Middle of the afternoon. These pea puffer fish stay active the whole way through the day. Their energy is boundless, their concentration horrendous. They can't sit still for one moment, constantly looking for anything they can find. These curious creatures are so active that they just don't stop. Pea Puffer Kingdom in India. The sunshine, put my teeth in, the sunshine is starting to dim on these Indian riverbeds, and as they do, the puffers are starting to calm down. The lack of light shows that food will be hard to find, and they're looking for places to perhaps rest for the night, sleeping on leaves, branches, the riverbed itself, wherever they feel safe. And they will stay there all night until the sun rises again, and these pea puffer fish will rise. It would appear our original snail making a run for it did not make it. It's been a hard day for snails, but a glorious day for pea puffer fish.